Okay, I want to make this video as short as I can. It's probably my third time recording this. Each time I realize something is wrong with the video. Um, so, long story short, I had a few trades on Friday, and it was one trade on SPCX and three trades on IREN. For some reason, the trades are showing on the daily, but not showing on the 1 minute. Not totally sure why that is. If anybody knows, that'll be great. So I had a daily alert here over 115. It broke right through it. The idea was is that we had this bounce higher, came back down, strength here, and I was thinking on the daily where I could create another push. So I just wanted to have an alert to remind myself, hey, look at SPCX over 115. I know that there's the news with all the shares being allowed to be sold, but the idea that I was um, sold is that this was already factored into the market. Many people might think this is a bearish thing. Oh, now there's all this new volume that can push the price down, but this is something that's already factored in. So I was personally bullish seeing this. I didn't think it's going to rip like that, but anyway, when I really started watching it was here. And my personal idea on this trade was based on VWAP upper band. I'm going to change over my screen here to a different one if I can while recording. Um, yep, that did work. Okay, so here, as you can see, the upper band of VWAP is actually underneath, acting as support. And in that time, when it's inside the band, we know it's in a tight range. When it's above the bands, it's really in price discovery. And my idea was kind of like the hold of this band and continuation. And I grabbed it here 118.13. It did roll over on me a bit. My idea was is if it rolls over much more, I'll be out. So there really wasn't such a clear stop. Here, technically rolled against me like 40 cents. Would have really cut it out at 50 cents. No, it probably would have been close to $1. So risk reward on this trade was not good. It did pop against, in my favor, and I took it out 119.59. So that was a $1.50 winner on like 10 shares. Nothing crazy, but the risk reward realizing this could have rolled over like $1, and I don't know. Um, Taking it out there was not the smart move. I was a bit too trigger happy on that scalp. And, in hindsight, I had the best entry ever. Once it went in my favor, put your stop over there, risk your 40 cents, and just let it run the rest of the day. But no, I was like, it's early. What could happen? Da, 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 da. But, you know, something we hear a lot from S&B is that let the market makers kind of show their hand early on. You see this huge aggression, and let's say you could grab something early for a really really good price, and yeah, it might go against you. You might lose some of your early profits. It could have been a really good scalp if you just took it, but it also can be a really good entry for a long term idea throughout the day. And I wasn't thinking like that. I just took it and moved on to my next trade. So this is kind of like a theme that I think will show itself now while I go through the rest of my trades for the day. So that was the first trade. Second trade was on IREN. Um, Over here, um, basically, big picture IREN is previous day had a run up, came down, created this low after hours, went sideways, pre-market next day, ran higher, created this high. That high was taken out early on. We came below VWAP here, popped up to VWAP, and my grab of this trade was right here at 39.33. And yeah, created a beautiful candle and went. Now, two things about this trade. First of all, I didn't wait until this hammer was done to take the break. I kind of saw it come up to VWAP without aggression. I was watching level two really closely, and I just hammered it on 39.33. Put in my stop, and then I was watching it here, and I just got trigger happy. I saw it at 39. I was like, there's some support here. It came down 38.88. I was watching it, and I'm like, I think it's gonna bounce. So I just took it, and I was like, this is 3 hour already from 33, 39. Got 33 cents on a 10-cent risk. This is great. Take your profits. I didn't watch it as it came back up here. created another beautiful doji slash hammer that could have hammered again. I wasn't watching it. I really was watching it here though on this second bounce. Now the idea here on this bounce is that I saw this doji and I said, that's like almost like too perfect. We're not even at a VWAP yet. Um, I didn't think it's going to make up the VWAP, but I didn't think this doji is going to be it. I thought they're going to trap the bears, and that's exactly what happened. I trapped them and I grabbed it here at 38.89 with a stop above 38.99, 2 cents above this wick, 10-cent risk. It's really, really good, also based on level two. In hindsight, awesome grab. I thought correctly that it's not going to make it up to VWAP, and it just went. And unfortunately, I didn't let it go. I took it out here at 55. I didn't trail like I was supposed to. I was like, I don't know, maybe it will bounce, maybe that. I feel like the SPY was like a bit indecisive, and what is that here? Oh, one. It did bounce, but that was like way later. It wasn't because I was watching the spy. I was just like in this like trigger scalpy type of like mode where my entrances were really good. I just took it off here too quickly, took it off here too quickly. Maybe if I would have really let the hammer here form, I would have actually entered on the break of the hammer and put my stop and really lived through this as well. And really had lived, got the big move. And here, I think also a big part of it was like I didn't see the bigger picture. I didn't think that it will make it all the way to this liquidity point. It definitely helped that the spy did that. When the spy bounced, and that was just a rip off, the rip from there. But I just think off pre-market here was like a big confusion for me, and I was like, where is really my target? Where's my target? But I should have at least went for like pre-market low or something like that, or at least trail my stop. Just trail it until I see some consolidation, put the stop above it, and let it take me out. But again, this was a big miss of being too trigger happy here, and to end the day, had one more trade on IREN a little bit later. Now, this is an interesting one where, it came up here, created these liquidity points, it ripped through them, came down, it ripped higher. Now, I was watching it here, it took out this, took out this, took out this wick, took out three liquidity points, and I didn't think it's going to come all the way up to the pre-market high slash morning high. I did think it's going to reverse. I was watching level two. Once it took that out, I grabbed it here at 39.56. My stop over 66. I really ended up putting it at 65. And I was like, I'm not going to watch this. Shop's about to come. I'm just going to put it in. And my profit target was this liquidity point. Now, unfortunately, I didn't put this actual liquidity point. I put a few cents below. But believe it or not, I literally put it at 85. And now here I am on Monte Chavez, realizing that the trade was 1 cent away from hitting my profit target. And when did I get taken out? 2 hours later over here. Unbelievable. Chose 110 on the chart, but it's really 2:10. So at 2:10 p.m. This was hours later. If I was there, maybe I could have done something, whatever, trailed it, moved it to break even, whatever it is. But I took my $5 loss here. No big deal. But yeah, just a real shame that I had the right idea of where the liquidity point will be, where it's going to take it out, but I just put it a few cents after. And, 6 cents, I guess, is too much in this type of scenario. Would have been close to a $40 winner. It's unbelievable. That's just 1 cent away. I was also trying to figure out in the future, what will VWAP be? We'll create some type of support here as well. Like, this was a really good idea. I should have just put it like 89, 88, not all the way down to 85. Yeah, part of me wanted to just go all the way for these lows, but I was like, it's too aggressive. It did show some strength, but it took out those liquidity points. Let's have the rollover and take this one out, and then we'll have the continuation. And yeah, it did. It really just took off way later. Now the day is looking very different, but how could I play this better? Just one thing. Just doesn't have to be so many cents past the liquidity. You're not looking for, for it to rip right through. Like an example of that would be like pre-market today. You'd say, oh, okay, so at this point I could put it, just 2, 3 cents above. And yeah, it did go like 15 cents past it. That will happen, especially in the market open. But for me here, I think that's a big miss. I didn't need to be that aggressive and put it so far down. Just want to take that out a bit lower, 1 cent, 2 cents. That's all you need. So yeah, those were my trades: SPCX and 3 IREN. And overall, kind of a scalpy day. Could have played that better, but also green day. So anytime it's green, can come in with a good mentality for the next trading day.